Welcome back to the Friar Talk podcast and YouTube channel. Today, we're going to be talking about Java Joe, who yesterday just threw a shutout. It was his second shutout of the year. First one being the no-hitter back in, I believe it was April. So just wanted to kind of make an episode. I mean, everything's been so negative recently, especially with the Padres. But, Joe Musgrove came out yesterday, completely shoved, looked fantastic. And he needs to get some recognition because if you're talking about, just the whole course of the season, he has to be one of the biggest winners this year. One of the best players on the Padres, by far their best starting pitcher. And he's been everything and more than they could have asked for. So, Isaac, what do you feel about Joe Musgrove after this amazing year that he had?
Well, you look at all the offseason acquisitions. You look at the acquisition of Mike Clevenger last year at the trade deadline, and you can look and you could see, Clevenger, Darvish, Snell, Paddock, Weathers, Morahone, whoever has started for this team, they've all landed on the IL at some point, whether it be for a significant amount of time or only 10 days, whatever it is. Joe Musgrove has been the only one to not be that guy, knock on wood. Hopefully that stays that way. Comes out yesterday in really a big time spot for the Padres. I know it was against a lowly opponent in the Angels, but it's a big time spot to try and get this team back on track. They needed an outing where it's just something confident. Give them some confidence. The lineup puts up 5 runs, finally gives Joe some run support, and Joe comes through with the 9-inning complete game shutout. And it was really good to see, because his stuff looked good. He said he used the fastball more than he normally does. He was using the sinker more than he normally does. And, he was able to be confident in his stuff because the team was finally giving him some early run support. So he felt like he was able to take those risks, and he definitely came through on that end. And he's looked great, and he's looked great all year. I think he's top 10 in ERA, and I know the strikeout numbers aren't quite, Chase brought it up earlier. He compared his numbers to Garrett Cole. The strikeout numbers aren't there, but in terms of ERA and I believe a couple other categories, I'm not entirely sure. They're quite similar. So Joe Musgrove has been fantastic for us all year through San Diego's first no-hitter. If you go into the stadium where the Padres kind of Hall of Fame kind of thing is, the first thing you see is Joe Musgrove's jersey and everything. And I think that kind of speaks volumes as to what he's done for the Padres, being the hometown kid and coming through really. And he said before, I want to be the guy with the ball in my hand when the Padres need it most. And he's definitely been that guy to come through in those situations.
Really like that you bring that up. I was just about to bring that up. It's one of those things where you hear him say that, and it's just like, this dude grew up wanting to be in the spot that he's in, and he is absolutely flourishing. Like, he grew up being a Padres fan, wanting to be their ace, and that's what he's done this year. And though the season has been very disappointing, he's been the farthest thing from that. I mean, he's been everything anyone would have wanted him to be. I think he's proving it to all the fans. I mean, you guys should realize this. Like, this dude is an ace. He was one of the guys that a lot of people thought would benefit from leaving Pittsburgh. Would be one of those guys like Eric Cole, who you bring up. Have that kind of like second wind in their career almost after leaving that organization. And he's been that. He has been the lone bright spot out of the starting pitching rotation. There's some, Melanson has had a great year in terms of being in the bullpen. Austin Adams has had a pretty good year. Like, you look at like how those guys have improved, but it's not even close to like what Joe Musgrove's, like, his value to this team. So it's a big deal. I did title this video, Java Joe is the best Padre since Jake Peavy. The only guys I could think of, Isaac brought up Dinelson Lamet last year in his season. The thing was, it's a 6-game season, and he hasn't had like longevity. The other guys you could bring up would be Tyson Ross and Matt Latos. I went back and looked at Matt Latos' stats. He didn't have it. If Joe Musgrove's year stays where it's at, his ERA, he's going to have a better season than Matt Latos' best in San Diego. Though Matt Latos did it for quite some time. This is Musgrove's first year, but I do expect him to keep getting better and better. I'm just really high on him. I think we all have been high on him since the beginning.
Yeah, so, we've all been pretty high on Joe Musgrove since the beginning. Let me go ahead and something real quick. Okay, so we've all been pretty high on Joe Musgrove since the beginning. I mean, he's been an amazing pitcher for us so far. I think it was kind of a slept-on aspect that he went from an organization where pitchers historically do not have that great of a track record, and more so, they have a track record of leaving and going to a different organization and succeeding and flourishing, and that can definitely be the case with Java Joe right now. Matt brought up that he is an ace. I think he's an ace too. I think that I personally, even though he is an ace, I personally do still like him in a 2, 3, 4 role, just to alleviate the pressure off of him to get more established guys up there as the opening day starter, number 2 guy. This year it was Yu Darvish. Next year we don't know who it's going to be. It could be, honestly, wouldn't be surprised if it's Java Joe. Just because of what he's done this year. He's been fantastic for us all year, and I expect great things from him for the foreseeable future. People bring up extending him, and I definitely think that he should be extended. I don't think you can have a reason as to why he shouldn't be. Pitch is fantastic. Consistent reliability in the rotation as far as injuries go. And I brought it up before. When he's not on, it's a little concerning, but it's only been little stints, like a little small tiny stint where he hasn't been on, and through the first 3 innings he has like a 4 ERA, but when he buckles down into that 4th inning on, when the innings start getting, when the pressure starts coming on, he has under a 2 ERA. So lots of good things from Java Joe this year, and I think we can see that for the foreseeable future as well.
Sorry about cutting out, guys. I was kind of making my case on why he's the best. I like all the stuff you said, Isaac. It is interesting that and we've talked about this before, usually even when he has like a rough outing, it's usually only 1 inning. Like he usually gets it together and goes multiple innings. He doesn't get knocked out of games early. Definitely leads the Padres in innings pitched. And I haven't even looked at that in a while, but like there's no question that he does, I feel like. And so it's been really impressive. I did bring up those other guys. I just think that, and I think I said most of my point before I dropped off, but I just think that how like the expectations were so high coming into this year, and how he was like not the main pitcher that everyone was ready for, and then he became that guy. Like I would say that some people thought he would be the 4, because Lamet was a 3. Some people thought he was the 5. Some people thought he was after Paddock. I remember early on, and he's been dominant. He's been, like I said, he hasn't had the run support, but if he would have had better work this year, and he improved his numbers a little bit, you take out a couple of the rough outings, he wouldn't be that far away from being in that Cy Young conversation. I know it kind of seems like right now, like Walker Buehler is probably going to walk away with it, but he would be one of those like second-tiered guys for that if he just had like a little, like some more wins. I feel like unfortunately that is a big deal for that award, but this guy that I think this is a guy that we can continue to get better and better also. So I don't think this is like a 1-year fluke or anything like that. I think Java Joe, he has 1 year of arbitration left, but I think after that year, I think that the Padres should go and extend him. Honestly, if they can extend him now for this year ends, I would be all for that as well. And we will probably talk about that in the offseason. But if you have a year like this where everyone has a down year and you're the only guy that's able to come through for a starting rotation, and look at where their bullpen's been, like he completely carried them last night. We've just seen him have those great outings. So really impressive stuff from him this year. But anything else you want to add, Isaac? And what do you think about him being the best Padre since Jake Peavy?
Yeah, you brought up that I brought up Dinelson Lamet earlier, and I did say Dinelson Lamet, and I know, like 60-game season. So the thing you can say against Dinelson Lamet, and this is why I believe, is definitely heavily against him. It was only a 60-game season, so not too big of a sample size. Do I think he would have been able to maintain that pace throughout 162? Yes, I do. But in a 60-game season, he got hurt, and that's definitely holds a lot in a baseball player or any player in any sports value. Availability is the best ability. So, that's the only issue I have with putting Dinelson Lamet in front of Joe Musgrove right now. Joe Musgrove has been just fantastic, and Dinelson Lamet's a fantastic pitcher for sure. He's been everything that we expected on the field, off the field is definitely devastating. And I think we might not even see him still in that starting pitcher role, which it sucks, but there's a lot of starting pitchers in this rotation. Joe Musgrove's probably going to be at the forefront of that. So really good to see these numbers from Joe. We expected it for sure, but it just makes it that much sweeter that he wants to be in this situation. He wants to be in the limelight. He wants to be the guy that gets San Diego to the playoffs or the World Series, whatever it is, and he wants to be at the forefront of it. So super excited for the guy, super stoked for him, and I'm excited to have him for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I think that's going to do it for today's episode. Really fun stuff. Really happy that Joe Musgrove came out there and just had a dominant outing when this team really needs it. Now, playoff chances and obviously in serious jeopardy, but you can still take away positives from this team, and I think Musgrove is definitely like the main guy that you want to do that outside of Fernando Tatis, of course. But really, really important that he's coming through right now. Maybe these injuries kind of start to falter. We just saw Darvish come back. Paddock's about to come back. There is chance for them to start winning some games, but it's a tough spot that they're in. So very happy that Joe Musgrove came out there, looked great, and got to give this dude credit for an amazing season. So that's going to do it for today, though. Thank you all for listening, and we'll be back talking Padres baseball tomorrow.